And that's your weekly allocation of ocean sounds. Hello from me. My name is Sam Grant, and today we're going to be doing what we do every time I stream, which is, what is that, Andy? Help me remember.
It's that we go through Moby Dick and make it a little bit more accessible, bit more tasty.
That's the word, yeah. Just really boiling it down to its essence, scooping out those bones, scooping out that gristle, and just leaving you with that nice, creamy, whale-flavoured broth that you're going to learn to just take and put noodles in and just make it into mind ramen for your brain.
I'm a bit worried that people are going to get too excited about there being whale broth in this chapter.
I mean, we've already had the chowder chapter, to be fair. We
We've had the
really
chowder
fucked that up.
chapter.
We should have mentioned that earlier. I'm sorry. But this is where we
Well,
are right now.
What's done is done.
Yeah. What's that from? Is it a song or a poem where what's done is done, my race is run? What's that from? Have I made that up?
Is it your poem?
No. Yes. Welcome to my new poetry book.
Welcome to being a poet. Congratulations.
I'm Googling it. What's done is done, my race is run. It's probably something really shit. The day is done? Is that it?
Probably
Have I made
something-
this up?
Probably something really well known
This
that
doesn't look
I'll
like
be
it.
embarrassed about not knowing.
There's some dickwad called Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Pff, don't care about that. Oh. Is that a
Yeah.
big name?
yeah. I think I probably should know that. I think he did Hiawatha.
Hiawatha?
Yeah.
What's Hiawatha about?
Oh man, we're getting into all the cool 19th
We're
century.
stepping on poets' toes.
It's an epic poem about a Native American leader of a nation, I think, called Hiawatha.
Why are they saying water like that?
It's oh,
I'll have a nice glass of water. Oh, have you got a liar?
yeah, that's exactly what it's about.
Just trying to find the highest glass of water they can find.
Yeah, that's why it's an epic. It's a never-ending quest.
They end up going to the Himalayas. It's absolutely insane. So, without too much further ado, is it ado or adieu?
It's adieu,
Why?
because adieu is something different. It's like I bid you adieu. It's like farewell or something.
But what if an ado is a load of faffing about, as I've
Yeah.
been led to believe from the phrase without further ado, then if you're saying to someone, I bid you adieu, it means they've got something else they can be on with, so I'll get out your way. Maybe that works as well.
But it's like saying I wish you have stuff.
Yeah,
on.
I hope you're keeping busy. I hope you don't get to relax.
Is that something that you say in like every day? is this just in your workplace? Somebody just opens the door and says, "I hope you're busy."
That's literally how it works.
Oh yeah, sorry. I don't work in an office, so I forgot.
You prick, you have little work to do. Yeah, love to work, me. It's right good.
I was saying, yeah.
Right, so yeah, without further ado and further adieu, we'll get into a little recap here. And I think you've done like the last 4, so I'm just going to do this one.
Okay.
I think that
great.
sounds just.
You got some good music.
I've got some great music for it.
Excellent.
So let me just fade down the little ocean waves there. Nearly played the wrong song. We've got a different song for the outro today, and I hope you're going to have a good time with that. But welcome to the story of Moby Dick. But it's not Moby Dick's story just yet, because it's the story of Ishmael, the worst man you will ever meet or hear about. Ishmael is a guy who likes to go on boats. He's also a guy who likes to go around and ruin people's days by knocking their hats off. And that's when he knows it's really time to go and get on boats. He's trying to get on a boat right now. He's travelled, he's been on a ferry, He's made friends with a cannibal who has punched a racist into orbit and then into the sea and then saved him. And that cannibal has since told him to go, hey, find us a nice boat to go on. And Ishmael has. He's not been happy about it. He's whinged the whole time. But he's doing it. He's trying his best. And they're in Nantucket, which is a place that fucking sucks from the sounds of it. But he's making the best of it. He's walking around. He's trying out ships. He's picked one called the Pequod. Was it Pequod? Yeah.
It is Pequod, yeah.
And he's picked it because it's covered in skeletons, which is really a really good sign when you want to get on a boat to do a dangerous job. And everyone who's met on this boat so far has been a captain. He's met with Captain Peleg, he's met with Captain Bildad, and soon, I think, he might be meeting a guy called Captain Ahab, who, as we all know, is a very cool guy. So let's hop right back into it and see how this chat goes, because it sounds like Captain Peleg, at least, doesn't want Ishmael on his boat, not because he thinks he's a big stinky wiener man, but because it's really dangerous and he'll die, and he's actually just quite nice. The captain, not Ishmael. Ishmael's a fucking dickhead. So, we will hop in, and we will see what happens next! Let me just put on
Excellent.
ocean sounds again. There we go.
I mean, it's a good point, actually. Like, not a lot of people know that in the 19th century, most of the people on ships were captains. There was just 4 or 5 people that weren't, who were very busy.
Just so many things to do. So many people wishing them adieu.
It was very inefficient for cargo as well, because so much of the ship was just various captains' quarters.
Because captains need to be looked after comfortably.
Yeah.
You can't give them a regular old bunk or a hammock or a cupboard to sleep in.
They have to have room to entertain other captains.
It becomes this whole social scene of fancy dinner parties between all the captains. Will you be joining the captain for dinner? And everyone just goes, yes, and doesn't know which captain they're talking about.
Yeah, but thankfully, because the other ship also has, like, a lot of captains, as long as enough of them go on board and they each go to different rooms, they'll probably not displease anyone.
It sounds quite nice, to be honest. Just hanging out. Alright, so, speaking...
Yeah. Emma says, Captain, my captain. Yeah, that poem is actually just about people being confused on ships.
So many captains. Captain, help me, you're the captain. What do you want us to do? Alright, would that count as insubordination?
Or asking for instructions.
Yeah, from another captain. When you're also a captain. How does it work? Every captain is an island.
I think insubordinate suggests that you're behaving out of rank, but if you're a captain speaking to another captain, you're probably alright.
I think they'll just be having a lot of duels. That's what I'd do. Slapping people with my glove. I would probably have a glove if I was a captain.
The air is just thick with the sound of gloves being slapped on every ship.
Sounds great. Okay, hopping into it. I'll take the first paragraph. So if we just run through...
I have pretty horrific hay fever, by the way. So
shit.
If I start crying during this...
You're probably listening to that Berserk theme again.
I probably am, yeah. Thinking of Keanu Reeves.
Okay, so we just got up to talking about Quakers. A lot of Quaker chat. Quakers are historically fairly okay. I don't know much about them, but from what I've heard, they're nice. They're like left-wing religious people, from what I can tell. Don't quote me on it, because I don't know what I'm talking about, and I may have been misled by Quaker propaganda. But Bildad was a Quaker. Peleg was also a Quaker. Lots of Quakers on Nantucket, which should have a capital N. But not normal boring Quakers, these guys were nuts. They were the most sanguinary, bloody of all sailors and whale hunters. They are fighting Quakers. They are Quakers with a vengeance. I could go on and on about all the different flavours of Quakers, but this type, the Nantucket variety, really don't mix with outsiders too much. You can tell because they say things like thee and thou. And just for reference, this paragraph, that was all of this. That's how that came about. So I think we're going to really start cutting down the page count here, which is what everyone wants, because when you buy a book, you want as few pages as possible. You just want the gist. So,
we've got good comment from Monad just going in saying how lovely.
Quaker facts.
We were just talking about Quakers being really nice actually before we fired up the stream, so that's.
Let's
see.
Yeah, this is a pro-Quaker chat. This is a pro-Quaker environment.
What a hot take. I mean, it's controversial on all those other
Too
Twitch
edgy
channels.
For you, other comedians.
All these other Twitch chats saying, yeah, keep your Quakers out of here, but not here.
Okay. Like Captain Peleg. Oh.
Okay, sorry, you go.
I'm cracking on. Like Captain Peleg, Captain Bildad was a well-to-do retired whaleman. But unlike Captain Peleg, who cared not a rush for what are called serious things, I like Peleg, and indeed deemed those self-same serious things the veriest of all trifles, Captain Bildad had not only originally been educated according to the strictest sect of Nantucket Quakerism, but all his subsequent ocean life and the sight of many unclad lovely island creatures.
Okay.
Sorry, I would like to reread that line.
Yeah.
But all his subsequent ocean life and all the sight of many unclad, lovely island creatures round the Horn, all that had not moved this native-born Quaker one single jot, had not so much as altered one angle of his vest. Still, for all this immutableness, was there some lack of common consistency about worthy Captain Bildad, though refusing from conscientious scruples to bear arms against land invaders, yet himself had illimitably invaded the Atlantic and Pacific, and though a sworn foe to human bloodshed, yet had he in his straight-bodied coat spilled tons upon tons of Leviathan gore. Whoa.
Yeah.
How now, in the contemplative evening of his days, the pious Bildad reconciled these things in the reminiscence, I did not know, but it did not seem to concern him much, and very probably he had long since come to the sage and sensible conclusion that a man's religion is one thing, and this practical world quite another. This world pays dividends, rising from a little cabin boy in short clothes of the drabbest drab to a harpooner in broad, shad-bellied waistcoat, from that becoming boat-header, chief mate and captain, and finally a ship-owner. Bildad, as I hinted before, had concluded his adventurous career by wholly retiring from active life at the goodly age of 60, and dedicating his remaining days to the quiet receiving of his well-earned income. Right. He's a nice fella, but if you're a whale, he's gonna fucking rip you in half.
Yeah.
Okay, this I really like this. I can't copy-paste the whole thing, but I want to get most of this in here. So, was well-to-do retired whaleman. Yeah, that works. That can just go in there. Right. Okay, but we need to transition from just generalizing about Quakers. But not all... Does Quaker have a capital Q? Not all Quakers are the same. Take Bildad and Peleg, for instance. Yeah, there we go. That's a little transition, isn't it? Like Captain Peleg, Bildad was a well-to-do, retired whaleman. But while Peleg was generally happy to sit around doing nothing and being nice to people with no rush or what's another word for like intensity. Yeah, just intensity. Yeah. There's no rush or intensity. Bulk Dad. Whoa. Bill Dad was... What was it? How does he open it? Yeah. And eating this other thing is blah, 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 blah. Not only been... Okay, he was all business. Bill Dad was all business. Actually, let me just read and see where we got to. So, okay, here was a guy. Here was a guy who's been on ships all his life and has looked upon all manner of unclothed creatures. Such wondrous animals this man must have seen. And still had every scruple he was born with. Educated in big, fancy, serious Quaker schools.
I thought you were going to say shorts.
Oh yeah. Bill had gone from being a little sailor boy in tiny clothes up to being a big, sexy harpoon guy with nice clothes, nicer clothes.
Well, nice waistcoat, at least.
Yeah.
Are we to assume he's wearing anything else, or is he just wearing a waistcoat when he's harpooning?
No comment. I don't know. That's for Melville to disclose. Gone from being a little sailor boy in tiny clothes to being a big, sexy harpoon guy with nicer clothes, and all the way from there up to being a captain with amazing clothes. And from there, a boat owner. I'm not going to keep on about the clothes.
Yeah.
They're a boat owner. What a guy. There we go.
That's an amazing paragraph. Okay.
Hang on. At 60 years old, he was happy to just rake in the money from all these boats he'd owned. He'd earned a bit of a rest. Oh, we need the part about opening up whales.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, I definitely need that. A nice guy, too. A nice guy, too. If you're a human. While his Quakerisms might make him the most pleasant fella you could hope to meet if you've got all the normal number of arms and legs. And no, because this is sailors, they're going to be missing arms and legs. If you've got human blood in you, if you're more of the whaley persuasion, this was a guy... how did he put it? Because it was grotesque.
It was, and though sworn foe to human bloodshed, yet he had in his straight-bodied coat filled tons upon tons of Leviathan gore.
That was it. If you're more of the whaley persuasion, this guy was going to get your blood out of you by any means necessary. The blood, gore, eyeballs. You have it. He'll spill it. Guy was a maniac to whales. All right.
I really look forward to all the things he's going to do in the rest of the novel.
Is he going to be on the ship with them? What's his name? Brute Wig or whatever his name was.
What's that?
The sexiest sailor they met at the Spouter Inn that everyone loved. Bulkington.
Bulkington.
Yes, Bulkington's here.
That's the spin-off. Is Bildad, Captain
Bildad
P-Leg,
and Bulkington.
and Bulkington. They go off on their own adventure.
Nice.
They have a great time, actually.
Okay, I think this one's you. I'm pretty happy with that paragraph.
That sounds excellent. Now Bildad, I am sorry to say, had the reputation of being an incorrigible old hunks, and in his seagoing days a bitter hard taskmaster. They told me in Nantucket, though it certainly seems a curious story, that when he sailed the old Catecut whaleman, his crew, upon arriving home, were mostly all carried ashore to the hospital, sore exhausted and worn out. For a pious man, especially for a Quaker, he was certainly rather hard-hearted, to say the least. He never used to swear, though, at his men, they said, but somehow he got an inordinate quantity of cruel, unmitigated hard work out of them. When Bildad was a chief mate, to have his drab-coloured eye intently looking on you made you feel completely nervous, till you could clutch something, a hammer or a marling spike, and go to work like mad at something or other, never mind what. Indolence and idleness perished before him. His own person was the exact embodiment of his utilitarian character. On his long, gaunt body he carried no spare flesh, no superfluous beard, his chin having a soft, economical nap to it, like the worn nap of his broad-brimmed hat.
So is Willem Dafoe.
Is that what that's what
He looks exactly like Willem Dafoe.
He looks like Willem Dafoe.
That's all this is.
He's a utilitarian Willem Dafoe who doesn't swear, but if he looks at you... I mean, actually, all of this applies to Willem Dafoe, doesn't it?
I think so.
I think if Willem Dafoe looked at me slightly disapprovingly,
I'd work harder.
I'd look busy.
Okay, so I do feel like I've stepped in a little bit of a bucket here, because I did say he was quite nice.
Yeah, this is the danger, isn't it, of doing this paragraph by paragraph? What do we do? Do we change,
I think
or do we stick to our guns?
hold the line.
Do we say, is what we might have said, except he also had a reputation for this?
I think that works. Okay, he was a maniac to whales. Also, actually it turned out he was a bit of a maniac to his sailors too. So, take that in stride. Right. They called him an old hunk. But not in a sexy way. In a quite mean way. Which is confusing to some people. To some people who aren't proper sailors like me.
Yeah. If you bought Hunks magazine in the 19...
Just Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, just
staring at the lens.
Page after page of stern old men who look disapprovingly at you.
I mean, that sounds great.
Is the latest issue of Hunks in? Why, yes it is. I'm going to read it on my break. Oh wait, actually, I think I should get back to work.
I haven't earned a break yet. Okay, so it was like me. They say he never swore. They say he never swears. But somehow...
I like the but somehow. It's like, how does he get them to work?
But some... Oh, they say he never swears, at least not... At least not to his crew. But still, he manages to get every single man aboard to overwork to the point that they would need dragging to hospital as soon as his ships had docked. They say he's got some kind of look he fixes upon you that just makes you go... Oh, just makes you go, oh, bloody hell. I'm not a fan of this sensation. And then you just go into some kind of working frenzy. You grab what you can and look busy. Or he'll just keep looking at you.
It sounds like Ishmael when he becomes captain.
Is that what happens?
Well, I'm just saying, if he
Oh,
were
yeah,
to...
he does stare at people.
He just stares at people, and he just keeps on staring.
He just stares at... He just keeps looking at you like a reverse Medusa. Can't imagine what it'd be like to have someone staring at you like that. Probably muttering under their breath while they do it. Right. Oh, and then we talk about what he looks like.
Yeah.
But while he was all business in what he expected out of other people, he was consistent in that... While he was all business in what he expected out of other people, he was consistent in that his body itself was also all business. The man didn't have a single atom on his body.
This would definitely be the bio in Hunks magazine.
That wasn't 100% necessary for it to function at the most basic level. What does this mean?
I mean, it fills space on the page.
No beard. No big muscles. No big belly. Just those scary eyes. And the bones that help them
Wait,
level.
I think he does have a beard, but he doesn't have superfluous beard. I think he just, unless I've misread. Let's get back.
No superfluous beard. Okay, we'll just change that to superfluous though.
His chin has a soft, economical nap to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No superfluous.
It's like the nap of a broad-brimmed hat, if that were on your chin. I love the detail Melville goes into.
Is that held him up to a high level? Okay. Alright, happy with that. Yeah, we've covered that.
Okay.
Alright.
Some good notes from Monad as well.
Oh. You've got to type breath between there and while. He is lean and well optimized. I will get to that breath when I can't remember where that was. I don't remember what I write. We'll find it.
Yeah.
Held him up at eye level. Alright, is this me or you?
I think this is you.
Okay. Such then was the person that I saw seated on the transom when I followed Captain Peleg down into the cabin. The space between the decks was small, and there, bolt upright, sat old Bildad, who always sat so, and never leaned. And this to save his coattails. Wait, what? Oh, he cares about his coattails. And this to save his coattails. His broad brim was placed beside him. His legs were stiffly crossed. His drab vesture was buttoned up to his chin. And spectacles on nose, he seemed absorbed in reading from a ponderous volume. Alright, we went to go see him. That's all that is.
Yeah. Also, he's reading a book, and books are cool.
We went to go see him. He was wearing glasses and reading a book.
Emma says he's Willem Dafoe. We could rule this city, Spider-Man version.
It's true. They could rule that city.
I was thinking that look that he gives the sailors is probably like that bit where Willem Dafoe goes to cut a turkey and somebody tells him not to do it yet. And he gives them a look like he's going to murder them. That's the best bit of that film.
I would like to see this. Hang on.
It's so good.
Spider-Man at Turkey.
It's such a good scene. This is when superhero movies had time for stuff like this.
This was when they were good.
Yeah.
Alright. Oh, was it before that? It was before this. Okay, turkey time. Coming up to turkey time.
Share it.
That was it! This is Bildad. He's a scary guy, isn't he?
He's so good.
Yeah, anyway, that's our Spider-Man tangent right now. Alright, he was reading a book. Well, I don't think we need the part about... Hang on, how was he sat here? So, space between the... Sat bolt upright. He was always sat upright. But also his legs were crossed. How you... That's really hard to do. That's basically just doing a pistol squat, isn't it?
Wait, I don't think it's like his legs are straight out in front of him.
That's how he maintains that gristly body.
Oh, man.
Okay. I think, yeah, we've got that covered. He was wearing glasses and reading a book. Very reductive. Okay. Bildad! Oh.
I was going to say, which one of us is being Bildad and which one of us is being Peleg?
I was Peleg last time, so I would like to be Peleg again this time, and you can build out Bildad how you like.
Okay.
So, yeah. Bildad!
Cried Captain Peleg.
At it again, Bildad, eh? Ye have been studying those scriptures now for the last 30 years, to my certain knowledge. How far ye got, Bildad?
As if long habituated to such profane talk from his old shipmate Bildad, without noticing his present irreverence, quietly looked up and, seeing me, glanced again inquiringly towards Peleg.
He says he says he's our man, Bildad,
said Peleg.
He wants to ship.
Dost thee? Said Bildad in a hollow tone, and turning round to me.
I dost?
Said I unconsciously. He was so intense a Quaker. Oh, Ishmael. I genuinely think...
This would make a great comedy. This is a funny story. Why do people take it so seriously?
Yeah, it genuinely is meant to be fun. I genuinely think a lot of the scenes with Ishmael is meant to be like this, inhabit that kind of cringe comedy space.
What do you think of him, Bildad?
Said Peleg.
He'll do, said Bildad, eyeing me, and then went on spelling away at his book in a mumbling tone quite audible.
Okay, well, we can just have all of this because this is,
I think that's
this
all
is
good.
perfect.
Yeah, that
This is
fine.
all great. Bildad, correct, Captain Peely. Added again, Bildad A. You've been sitting there as well. As if long... Yep, okay, we can fix this bit. As if he was used to his old pal ribbing him. That's modern parlance. Without no... Bildad... ignored the jibe. I fucking hate using these words. Ignored the jibe. Quietly looked up and seeing me, glanced again inquiringly towards Peleg, which is what's normally known as raising an eyebrow. Seeing me, lifted one eyebrow and glared at Peleg. Right, says a man, blah blah blah. Dust the eye dust. That's brilliant. Okay. In a moment tone quite audible. Wait, a mumbling tone quite audible? Or was it inaudible?
Audible.
Mumbling quite audibly. You just don't need to say that, do you?
That's very true. That's redundant phrasing, isn't it?
Ha ha! Gotcha, Melville. Right.
I guess you could have a mumbling tone where it's kind of indecipherable. That you can't quite make out what they're saying. They're just kind of muttering to themselves. But he's stressing that it's a confident mumbling.
That's good. Let's get in the confident mumble.
A confident mumble.
No, it's fine, actually.
Is the next bit me or you?
We sort of shared the last one, didn't we?
Yeah, I think you did a long one before. I'll do this one. Okay. I thought him the queerest old Quaker I ever saw, especially as Peleg, his friend and old shipmate, seemed such a blusterer. But I said nothing, only looking round me sharply. Peleg now threw open a chest, and drawing forth the ship's articles, placed pen and ink before me, and seated himself at a little table. I began to think it was high time to settle with myself at what terms I would be willing to engage for the voyage. I was already aware that in the whaling business they paid no wages, but all hands, including the captain, received certain shares of the profits called lays, and that these lays were portioned to the degree of importance pertaining to the respective duties of the ship's company. I was also aware that being a green hand at whaling, my own lay would not be very large, but considering that I was used to the sea, could steer a ship, splice a rope, and all those other sailor things, I made no doubt that from all I had heard, I should be offered at least the 275th lay, that is, the 275th part of the clear net proceeds of the voyage, whatever they might eventually amount to. And though the 275th lay was what they call a rather long lay, yet it was better than nothing, and if we had a lucky voyage, might pretty nearly pay for the clothing I would wear out on it, not to speak of my 3 years' beef and board, for which I would not have to pay 1 stiver.
I would simply not go on the boat. That sounds like a really bad deal.
Well, he's not having... I mean, it seems like most of Ishmael's outgoing expenses are...
He is broke.
Staying in bad inns and paying for chowder. So if those two things are covered, it's a pretty good deal, I'd say, for him. I mean, what else is he going to do?
He just wants to be on a boat. I think he should get paid more than that, though. But also, it's Ishmael. I don't care about him. It's all on him. Right. So... I thought Bildad was a pretty weird guy. Considering his friend Peleg was so chatty, he was just happy to sit there ignoring me. While his friend got out all the paperwork it would take to make a whaleman of me. It was time to negotiate. I'd done some research. I had done some research and discovered that whalers didn't get like a salary or day rate or anything like that. They all got a share of the profits. And I would have to figure out what my share should be. I'd never been a whaling. Yeah, I'm gonna throw in a whaling. I'd never been a whaling before, but on the other hand, I was good at boats, knowing all about ropes and sails and steering ships with the big wheel and all that other stuff. So I think it'd probably be fair. Andy, maths time. Mm-hmm. What with the saying 275th share? What's that in percentage? Because we're a percentage-based civilization now.
1/275th of a share.
Yeah, what's that in percentage? Because a 100th would be 1%, right? So,
right. So it's less than that. So it's less than 0.5% if it's a 275th. If only there was somebody who was good at like statistics and spreadsheets and stuff in chat.
Emma? Yeah? What's the 275th as a percentage? 0.03? 0.03? What the fuck? 0.3%. That's a horrible deal. He shouldn't take it.
Hang on a sec, though. You don't know how much money he's going to make. They're going to make on this voyage. They're probably going to make tons.
Don't know about that.
Because, like, people apparently pay premium for stuff you get out of whales.
0.3% of the proceeds, which sounded good enough to old Ishmael. That'd get me a new set of clothes for when these ones rot off my body.
Suddenly it makes sense why that other captain was just wearing a waistcoat.
And it'd keep me in beef. Beef and beds.
Beef and board is such a good term, isn't it, for the expenses you need in
it is actually. It'd cover me, it'd spot me, it'd keep me, it'd cover me. It'd cover my beef and board for however many years this expedition was going to take.
Oh, Freddy's here.
Yeah. Oh, is it Freddy time?
It is Freddy time.
I'm ready for Freddy time.
It's Freddy.
Hello! Look at the camera, Freddy. Hey,
It's Freddy.
You alright? Freddy looks pissed off. Oh, now we're talking.
Probably a bit warm.
What is that? Oh, it's a headphone. I thought you were giving him like a Lego man.
Yeah.
So I can pretend he's a giant.
That's when you got excited. That's when you said, now we're talking. You're like, I want to see if he eats that Lego man. This is content.
Okay. Yeah, this one's me. Right. It might be thought that this was a poor way to accumulate a princely fortune. And so it was. A very poor way indeed. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. There we go. But I am one of those that never take on about princely fortunes, and am quite content if the world is ready to board and lodge me, while I'm putting up at this grim sign of the thunder cloud. Upon the whole, I thought that the 275th lay would be about the fair thing, and would not be surprised if I had been offered the 200th, considering I was of a broad-shouldered make. Oh man, alright. Cool. Some people might think... I never know if it should be the double quote marks or the single quote marks when people are talking. What's the rule on that?
American, you mean when somebody speaks?
Yeah, quote marks. What do I do?
UK publishing convention says that it's a single quote mark. American publishing convention is that it's a double quote mark.
But why?
Oh wait, you mean if somebody is just...
Someone's talking.
Yeah.
It don't matter. There are no rules. Is that what we're saying?
As long as you're consistent, I would
Okay.
say.
All right. Some people might think, wow. Oh, no, we don't need to quote this. Some people might think that this is a pretty bad deal. And they'd be right. It was a horrible deal. A horrible deal if you're some kind of materialistic dickhead, which I was and am still not. I'm the kind of guy who's just happy to be part of the group. You know? Give me a bed to sleep on, and I'll sleep on it. Don't worry about asking me to do weird stuff in exchange. I'm easy. And I knew that realistically I was going to get a bit more than that. A bit more than that amount, because I had pretty big shoulders. And I know captains like that. Okay. Okay.
But one thing, nevertheless, that made me a little distrustful about receiving a generous share of the profits was this. Ashore I had heard something of both Captain Peleg and his unaccountable old crony Bildad, how they, being the principal proprietors of the Pequod, therefore the other and more inconsiderable and scattered owners, left nearly the whole management of the ship's affairs to these two. And I did not know but that the stingy old Bildad might have a mighty deal to say about shipping hands, especially as I now found him on board the Pequod quite at home there in the cabin, and reading his Bible as if at his own fireside. Now while Peleg was vainly trying to mend a pen with his jackknife, old Bildad, to my no small surprise, considering that he was such an interested party in these proceedings, Bildad never heeded us, but went on mumbling to himself out of his book, "Lay not upon yourselves treasures upon the earth, where moth..."
Moth! No, moth!
The moths are taking the treasures.
That's like literal moth in the
Okay. I don't know what's happening here.
He's saying that. I think he's like, I don't know if I can trust these guys to hand out fair shares. I mean, And then he makes it quite clear that neither of them are paying attention. One of them is trying to sharpen a pen, and failing, and the other one is just mumbling to himself from a book.
All right. Okay.
And this is still, bear in mind that like Ishmael has been chosen by Queequeg's deity, who said, "Leave it up to this guy to choose a good ship for us."
But then I had heard a thing or two about these guys. I say guys way too much. I heard
I
a
like
thing
it.
or two
It's become a motif.
about these guys. People said they were. What did they say about them? Unaccountable.
I'm not really sure why he doesn't trust them so much. It's just that they're the only owners which are there on the ship, and that everything's left up to them. So he's a bit worried that there's space for corruption there, I guess, is that he's
Right. People said there were vague suggestions that they might be not super nice. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, that sums it up for me. I don't know.
Not super nice. And I thought about this. Well, Bildad blanked me and read his Bible, and Peleg tried his best to sharpen a pen. To sharpen a pen with a knife. I didn't have much else to do but get paranoid. You know how it is. Right.
Well, Captain Bildad,
Interrupted Peleg.
what do you say? What lay shall we give this young man?
Thou knowest best, was the sepulchral reply. My goodness, that's difficult to say. The 777th wouldn't be too much, would it? Where moth and rust do corrupt, but lay.
That's much less. 777th. What's that in percents? Is that going to be like 0.02?
Pretty bad.
It's very bad. How do we even solve that math problem?
Well,
Is it 1 divided by that? Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? Is that how math? Is that how maths?
Emma?
Emma? What's a 777th in percentage?
Do 100, then divide it by the other number.
You sure?
It's
Shouldn't it be by 1?
just over 0.5%.
0.5%? But last time you told me it was 0.3%.
Wait, if you say 177.
777th.
Oh, I did 177. Whoa. 0.12%.
0.12? Fucking hell. That wouldn't replace half the clothes that are going to rot off his body.
It depends
Not
how
with the way
much
he
you
goes through them.
Maybe you get £1 billion.
Still not much, even if it is £1 billion. Not with that percentage. 0.12. Alright, so.
Okay.
So we'll have this, and then I'll just change it. So.
Well, Captain Bildad, what do you say? What should we give this young man? Oh, the worst best.
Was the people aren't going to know what sepulchral is. Was
Not the way I pronounce it.
well, sepulture's a church thing, isn't it? I don't know if it's where you put bodies or people who
Like
aren't bodies.
Crypty thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it was the grave-like. is that right?
Sounds good to me.
Was the grave-like reply. Wouldn't be too much, would it? And I'm just going to ignore all the Bible verse part because I don't understand that.
Maybe you can just have a comment saying, by the way, he keeps reading from his Bible.
Okay. Was too much, would it? He added outrageously before mumbling more Bible stories. 1/777. That was only 0.12%. What the fuck? Okay, and then we get to this. Is this where I'm going to regret not putting the Bible parts in?
You'll be fine.
Okay.
Lay indeed, thought I, and such a lay, the 777th. Well, old Bildad, you are determined that I, for one, shall not lay upon many lays here below, where moth and rust do corrupt. It was an exceedingly long lay, that indeed. And though from the magnitude of the figure it might at first deceive a landsman, yet the slightest consideration will show that though 777 is a pretty large number, yet when you come to make a tenth of it, you will then see, I say, that the 777th part of a farthing is a good deal less than 777 gold doubloons. And so I thought at the time.
Oh, this is solid maths from Ishmael.
Yeah.
It's just how you're going to summarize it, just being like a percentage of something. A fraction of something which is really big isn't great. But a number before the amount of things is good.
This kind of con might have worked on some idiot farm boy, but I knew boats and I also knew numbers. For example, while 777 sounds like a big number, it's actually a fraction. So it's less than a real number. Real number, it's fake. It's an extrapolation. 777 would... Alright. He puts it way better than what I'm planning because Ishmael's better at maths than me. Okay. Pretty large number until you're making a tenth of it. 777 might have a certain ring to it with all those syllables. When you whack a tenth on the end there, you're losing out, buddy. And then he puts it 777th part of a farthing is a good deal less than 777 farthings. I don't know why he switches from farthing to gold doubloons. I don't know what the exchange rate is on those.
Yeah. I think you'd be better sticking to your gold doubloons.
I think I'm gonna. Losing out, buddy. To reiterate. 777th part of a gold doubloon of a gold doubloon is a good deal less than 700 gold doubloons themselves. That's a maths fact. Right. Okay.
Excellent. I think the good news is that this. I think you can probably copy and paste this next bit of dialogue, but we'll see.
Okay.
Why, blast your eyes, Bildad, cried Peleg. Thou dost not want to swindle this young man. He must have more than that.
777th again, said Bildad without lifting his eyes, and then went on mumbling. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
I'm going to put him down for 300th, said Peleg. Do you hear that, Bildad? The 300th lay, I say!
Bildad laid down his book, and turning sullenly towards him, said, Captain Peleg, thou hast a generous heart, but thou must consider the duty that thou owest to the other owners of this ship, widows and orphans, many of them, and that if we too abundantly reward the labours of this young man, we may be taking the bread from those widows and those orphans. 777th lay, Captain Peleg.
No, Bildad! roared Peleg, starting up and clattering about the cabin. Blast ye, Captain Bildad! If I had followed thy advice in these matters, I would afore now had a conscience to lug about that would be heavy enough to founder the largest ship that ever sailed round Cape Horn!
Captain Peleg, said Bildad steadily, thy conscience may be drawing 10 inches of water or 10 fathoms, I can't tell. But as thou art still an impenitent man, Captain Peleg, I greatly fear lest thy conscience be but a leaky one, and will in the end sink thee foundering down to the fiery pit, Captain Peleg.
Fiery pit! Fiery pit! Ye insult me, man! Past all natural bearing ye insult me. It's an all-fired outrage to tell any human creature that he's bound to hell. Flukes and flames, Bildad! Say that again to me, and start my soul bolts or I'll swallow a live goat with all its hair and horns on. Out of the cabin, ye canting, drab-coloured son of a wooden gun. A straight wake with ye.
Whoa. I think this is Melville trying to express how they're struggling to not swear.
Start my soul bolts.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll swallow a live goat. You drab-coloured son of a wooden gun.
Okay, let's just paste all that in. That's fine. It's a math fact. You must have more than that. I'm just checking that there's anything that's not too confusing. Yep, okay, that's all fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Is this me or you?
That was kind of like a shared one, wasn't it? I don't mind.
Yeah. I'll go in.
Okay.
As he thundered out this, he made a rush at Bildad, but with a marvellous oblique sliding celerity, Bildad, for that time, eluded him. Alarmed at this terrible outburst between the two principal and responsible owners of the ship, and feeling half a mind to give up all idea of sailing in a vessel so questionably owned and temporarily commanded, I stepped aside from the door to give egress to Bildad, who, I made no doubt, was all eagerness to vanish from before the awakened wrath of Peleg. But, to my astonishment, he sat down again on the transom very quietly, and seemed to have not the slightest intention of withdrawing. He seemed quite used to impenitent Peleg and his ways, and as for Peleg, after letting off his rage as he had, there seemed no more left in him, and he, too, sat down like a lamb, though he twitched a little, as if still nervously agitated. This is you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He whistled at last.
the squall's gone off to leeward, I think. Bildad, thou used to be good at sharpening a lance. Mind that pen, will ye?
Oh, mend that pen, will you?
My jackknife here needs the grindstone. That's he, thank ye, Bildad. Now then, my young man. Ishmael's thy name. Didn't you say? Well then, down ye go here, Ishmael, for the 300th lay.
Yeah, I think we can just write that. out.
Yeah.
No, I think that's quite far enough. Okay. Peggle? P-leg charged at Bildad with the full intent to do him some harm. But Bildad was wiry and quick and dodged out of the rampaging captain's path. Co-captain's path. Rampaging other captain? Yeah, rampaging other captain's path. Peleg screamed and turned around, ready for another try. For another try. And I was thinking, oh wow, this looks really bad for them, to be honest. I'd be so embarrassed. This is very unprofessional.
Have you ever had a job interview like this with you, Sam?
Yeah, this is like every meeting in the media industry. It's just hustle and bullshit and people screaming at each other. And then they settle on just ripping off the new person every time. It's all an act, because people are the worst. This is very unprofessional. I was so embarrassed. It's very unprofessional. And I was expecting... what's his name? Bildad. To keep on getting out of there. Because Bildad... No, Peleg, fuck's sake. Peleg was still very much on the warpath. And then he wasn't. he sat down next to his co-captain and blew out a big sigh. They must tussle like this all the time. And then we just drop that text in, a little quote. Oh, although we do need the, yeah, let's have sat down like a lamb, because I think that's really weird. Sat down, and he wasn't. Like a lamb. He sat down next to his co-captain and blew out a big sigh. They must tussle like this all the time. Woo! He was sold. Okay.
Okay.
300th, like, so, 300... Emma,
Yeah.
what's the 300th as a percentage?
Didn't we settle that?
No, that was a 275th.
275th, yeah.
0.3.
0.3, alright. Ta!
It's
Oh.
a third. Yeah.
What? Is it it is a third! Oh my god, I hate maths.
Like, you see how it's written? It's like 1 over 300.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's written...
0.3, but you said 0.3% was the last one.
Yeah, I'd rounded it. It was not... That was a 200.
Fucking hell. We're miseducating people.
Wait, what?
So this is 3%. No, wait, 0.3%. Is this 3%? Of a 30th would be 30%. Is this 3%? I don't fucking know. I've been failed by the education system. I'm giving up translating it.
It's not 0.3 reoccurring, is it?
Is it? I'm not updating the maths. We're doing a maths pass later on.
Okay.
We'll get a famous mathematician to promote our project.
Don't tell a famous mathematician about us. Don't tell them what's happening
Who
here.
are the famous mathematicians?
10 times less than 3%. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, okay. Emma's got it.
Alright. Okay. I mean, we did say 0.3% earlier, though.
Okay.
That would have been 0.275%, actually.
Uh,
Oh, well, it's fine.
I don't know.
0.3%. That was the offer.
It's very
Da, 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 da. Should I bring my friend over tomorrow?
Oh wait, should I be Ishmael? And then you can be Peleg.
Maybe, yeah. I'm just scooting along.
Captain Peleg, said I. I have a friend with me who wants the ship too. Shall I bring him down tomorrow?
To be sure, fetch him along and we'll look at him.
What lay does he want? Groaned Gilda
Groaned?
for the book. None of those words suggest. I guess you can put a groan sound.
Oh, what lay does he want? I can't do it in a pirate voice.
No. Glancing up from the book in which he had again been burying himself.
Oh, never thee mind about that, Bildad, said Peleg. Has he ever whaled it any?
Turning to me.
Killed more whales than I can count, Captain Peleg.
Well, bring him along then.
Alright, we can just drop that in. That's all
Yeah.
fine. Yep. And after signing the papers, off I went. Nothing doubting but what I had done. Oh, nothing doubting but that I had done a good morning's work, and that the Pequod was the identical ship that Yojo had provided to carry Queequeg and me around the Cape. But I mean, that's all fine. That can just go in as well. That's absolutely fine. But I had not proceeded far when I began to bethink me that the captain with whom I was to sail yet remained unseen by me, though indeed in many cases a whale ship will be completely fitted out and received all her crew on board before the captain makes himself visible by arriving to take command. For sometimes these voyages are so prolonged, and the shore intervals at home so exceedingly brief, that if the captain have a family, or any absorbing concernment of that sort, he does not trouble himself much about this ship in port, but leaves her to the owners till all is ready for sea. However, it's always as well to have a look at him before irrevocably committing yourself into his hands. Turning back, I accosted Captain Peleg, inquiring where Captain Ahab was to be found. I can summarise that a bit quicker.
Mm-hmm.
But there was one captain-shaped hole in this puzzle I had been building. Who was Captain Ahab? It wasn't unusual to not meet a ship's captain before going off to sea. What with captains having families and whatever ashore, and not being ones to get involved with the more manual tasks on a ship. But still, I wanted to meet the guy who was going to be screaming at me for the next few years.
Okay.
Oh, and I asked him, yeah, okay. So I asked Peleg where I could find him. How far near the end? Oh, near the end, cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool. Where's that?
And what dost thou want of Captain Ahab? It's all right enough, thou'rt shipped.
Yes, but I should like to see him.
But I don't think thou wilt be able to at present. I don't know exactly what the matter is with him, but he keeps close inside the house, a sort of sick. And yet, he don't look so. In fact, he ain't sick.
Okay.
But no, he isn't well either. Anyhow, young man, he won't always see me, so I don't suppose he will thee. He's a queer man, Ahab, Captain Ahab, so some think, but a good one. Oh, thou'lt like him well enough. No fear, no fear. He's a grand, ungodly, godlike man. Captain Ahab doesn't speak much, but when he does speak, then you may well listen. Mark ye, be forewarned, Ahab's above the common. Ahab's been in colleges, as well as 'mong the cannibals, been used to deeper wonders than the waves, fixed his fiery lance in mightier, stranger foes than whales. His lance, aye, the keenest and the most surest, that of all of our isle. Oh, he ain't Captain Bildad, no, and he ain't Captain Peleg. He's Ahab, boy. And Ahab of old, thou knowest, was a crowned king.
Well, that just goes in.
Yeah, that's amazing. And a very vile one. When that wicked king was slain, the dogs, did they not lick his blood?
What the fuck? Ishmael, come on.
Ishmael's one bit of Bible knowledge, I guess.
This is where the dogs lick the blood. Just go and Control F through the Bible for stories about dogs licking blood.
Come hither to me. Hither, hither, said Peleg with a significance in his eye that almost startled me. Look ye, lad, never say that on board the Pequod. Never say it anywhere. Captain Ahab did not name himself. 'Twas a foolish, ignorant whim of his crazy widowed mother, who died when he was only a 12-month-old. And yet the old squaw artistic at Gay Head said that the name would somehow prove prophetic, and perhaps other fools like her may tell thee the same. I wish to warn thee, it's a lie. I know Captain Ahab well. I've sailed with him as mate years ago. I know what he is, a good man. Not a pious good man. Not a pious good man like Bildad, but a swearing good man. Something like me, only there's a good deal more of him. Aye, aye. I know that he's never very jolly, and I know that on the passage home he was a little out of his mind for a spell. But it was the sharpshooting pains in his bleeding stump that brought that about. As anyone might see. I know, too, that ever since he lost his leg last voyage by that accursed whale, he's been kind of moody, desperate moody, and savage sometimes. But that will all pass off, and once for all. Let me tell thee and assure thee, young man, it's better to sail with a moody good captain than a laughing bad one. So goodbye to thee, and wrong not Captain Ahab, because he happens to have a wicked name. Besides, my boy, he has a wife, not 3 voyages wedded, a sweet, resigned girl. Think on that. By that sweet girl, that old man has a child. Hold ye, then, there can be any utter hopeless harm in Ahab? No. No, my lad, stricken, blasted if he be, Ahab has his humanities.
Hey, that's quite a strong...
So quite an endorsement, isn't it?
Yeah, strong pitch for the new captain. You'll be fine with this guy.
I hope that, when speaking of, office environments and things like that, when you have to, send off for references with people, I hope that's the sort of thing people write, but I really don't think it is. I just don't think...
Might
might-
start using this in my references.
I think it'd be good. It'll make people stand out more.
Yeah. Next time a student's like, "Could you give me a reference for this?" It's like, I can.
Yeah, just list everything bad that they've done, but then say that they're not that bad.
Yeah. But somebody loves them, so you know.
Yeah. I'll leave this one to you because my throat is destroyed.
No worries. Also, I think when we come back to reading this back, as we're copying and pasting in these bits of dialogue, maybe we should just reread the first bit. See if we're not just reading this over again. That's my thought.
I think... I don't know if we do a reread on this, because this is a
think
monster chapter.
And we've copied and pasted a lot.
We
so-
have. I don't think we reread this. I think next session, we start with a reread of this chapter,
Oh,
and then, because the Ramadan looks quite short, actually.
yeah.
Actually, it's really not. That's quite long.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Anyway. As I walked away, I was full of thoughtfulness. What had been incidentally revealed to me of Captain Ahab filled me with a certain wild vagueness of painfulness concerning him.
What?
And somehow, at the time, I felt a sympathy and a sorrow for him. But I don't know what, unless it was the cruel loss of his leg. And yet I also felt a strange awe of him. But that sort of awe which I cannot at all describe was not exactly awe. I do not know what it was, but I felt it, and it did not disincline me towards him, though I felt impatience at what seemed like mystery in him, so imperfectly as he was known to me then. However, my thoughts were at length carried in other directions, so that for the present, dark Ahab slipped my mind.
I know just what we need for this.
I've just cut the paragraph and finished with the better paragraph before it.
Actually, yeah. No, here we go. I wasn't sure what to make out of all that,
Yeah, that's.
but there we go.
He has got a funny. He has got a funny tingly feeling though. So
But there was something happening in my brain at any rate. Okay, end of chapter.
that's a very honest end to a chapter.
Yeah, okay, I think that's been very good.
We got through a lot there. Didn't
We did, that was an absolute beast of a chapter.
We learned some things about captains.
So many things about captains and maths.
We learned some maths. We didn't learn any maths.
I feel like I know less maths than I did at the start, Andy.
I unlearned.
It's
some
been a
too.
net loss for the maths community today. Is there a maths community? There probably is. It wouldn't surprise me. So,
Do you think it gets us any closer to being a fully funded podcast? Do you think this is the one which breaks through? Who's going to sponsor this, would you say?
after this,
Yeah.
BBC bite-size maths.
Yeah.
Help teach people fractions.
We're going to scare them
GCSE
straight.
level.
We're going to be like, don't become this guy. look at these two. They didn't pay
Fucking
attention.
idiots.
Yeah, these guys are in the same maths class. Didn't pay any attention. Look at them now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's been a pretty good little session. And I don't know if you have anything you would like to add on at the end there, Andy, but I'm willing to just simply log off.
I think that seems like a perfect ending. Unless you've got some kind of wonderful outro song to play.
Oh, I do actually, Andy. We are going to close off today's show with something that's going to get us demonetized and banned from Twitch, if most likely. And this is Romeo Taylor, The Smell of Gold. And I'll see you later.
Bye.
See y'all later. Bye.
That smell of gold. I do
And that's it, and we'll see y'all later. Bye.